So non-cognitivist theories state that moral propositions don't really state facts about the world, they express attitudes. So when I say killing for no self-defense reason is wrong, what I'm saying is killing is bad. So if you were to question further about what bad means, it would be an open question. You would talk about it from all different angles. There'd be individual subjective perspectives. You'd never have the clarity you wanted in the end. Yet there's still a strong argument that it's better for individuals not to kill for numerous reasons. It highlights the gap between descriptive facts and normative ethical claims. So I just wanted to address the whole idea. Jonathan Stuart Mill really started the ball rolling with utilitarianism, the greatest amount of happiness for the greatest number of people. I call this trying to achieve an everybody wins scenario. So people immediately attack what is good. You don't know what's good. Good is subjective. Good is relative. This person's good might be different than another person's good. And then what happens? We make that argument and it thrusts us off into oblivion because we also don't limit the argument. We let it apply to everything and none of those things apply to each other in any cohesive manner, generating moral relativism. So how do we fix that? And the answer is to pay attention to the facts and stop letting linguistics sweep us away, right? Look at the contingencies. Look at how things happen in those contingencies. And also look at consequence and what's likely to happen given history. It's not like we're blindly moving through life and we can't understand anything in the moment at all. We have long history to look at to know what will likely happen in the future. Utilitarianism, he focuses on happiness, and just the word happiness really is the problem in that it's such a subjective representation. His utilitarianism is correct, but he just, he focused on something that was easy to attack, and now we have to stand on his shoulders and we have to focus on utility. The greatest amount of survival utility, food, air, water, shelter, healthcare, education, for each person that we can provide for them. Well, obviously, it has to be distributed to them in today's society, but that's modern utilitarianism. And to discount that is to say, okay, either leave it to chance whether or not they die or they live, or I will choose who dies and who lives. Both of those options are shit options, okay? The option is to, even if we fail, try to do the best we can. Food, air, water, shelter, healthcare, education for everybody. Everybody wins. That's what we should always be striving for. Not leaving it to chance, not taking the power to decide certain people should die. We should just be trying to use the mechanisms to get an everybody wins scenario. Naturalists, in some sense, have a good idea. The notion that you're not going to kill anybody can be supported simply by the fact that you're going to end up getting yourself killed. And so you can appeal to this selfish nature of a person. A lot of times this is all people understand. So in the most basic sense, in preventing killing, the naturalist point of view can work. And so I understand George Edward Moore's naturalistic fallacy here, but actually in this case, I think the naturalists are correct in the no-kill principle. They're correct, but we can also reach that ideal just in a purely philosophical form that emerges from deterministic reality, which we as humans have no real control over. We just kind of choose whether or not we live longer or we make mistakes and we don't live as long. Or sometimes you just get unlucky. If the only way you can stop yourself from killing somebody is to take the naturalist perspective to preserve your self-interest, then do it. But there are other ways that are more productive to get there. There's more than this, though. If we can just advance Mill's utilitarianism to the greatest amount of survival utility for the greatest number, the goal being an everybody survives billboard, we'll be in better shape as it pertains to the underlying universal human necessity, universal human rights. Everybody survives as a first principle. Then in triage, we drop to the greatest amount of survival utility for the greatest number. Look, the only other alternative is people that person X chooses survive, or random chance dictates who survives. The measure of a man is a man. This is the advancement on Mill's utilitarianism. Forget about happiness, focus on utility, universal individual right preservation. To the relativists out there, is 50,000 lives more important than one life? That's the question you're pretending doesn't exist. Is 50,000 lives better, more important, a bigger deal than one life? If I kill 50,000 people, is that the same as one? If you're faced with a trolley car with one person and 50,000 people, and the train's headed right for the 50,000 people, do you just stand at the lever and say, I don't know, what's the difference? Because that's what you're saying that you're doing as a relativist. If you guys like this kind of philosophical subject matter, help us out by liking the video and subscribing to the channel.